It's Mr. Thomas. Oh, he's going to be shy now. Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Today we're going to discuss how to study effectively. And the first thing you have to do is you have to get rid of all the distractions. Are you distracting? Are you a distraction? Mr. Thomas is a little bit of a distraction. He's a sweet boy, but he wanted to say hello today. He graduated preschool. Did you graduate preschool? Did you throw your hat? Put your tongue in your mouth. Put your tongue in your mouth. He's being silly. Okay, have a good day. I love you. You're a good boy. I'll talk to you later. Go have fun.
Bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. First things first, to study effectively, you got to get rid of all the distractions. Many people, when they try to study, they inevitably have a million things going on. They are cooking food. They are watching TV. They are playing poker at the same time. They are doing anything that is not only studying poker. So, first things first, get rid of the distractions. Second thing, make sure you actually very much want to study. So many people do not actually want to study. Turns out if you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it very well. It's just how it is. It's the nature of human beings. So, you need to figure out a way to actually want to study. Now, why would you actually want to study? Well, the obvious answer is you want to improve your poker skills, right? And you have to wrap your mind around the idea of every minute I spend studying is time that I will have at the table in the future of having a higher win rate, right? And if you play poker with a negative win rate or a lower win rate than you could have, you will inevitably leave a lot of money on the table. So if you like money and you like winning, you have to study the game away from the table. You have to. It's way too bright. It's blinding me. Let's see. Can we make this not so bright? There we go. Okay, so you have to actually want to study. You have to really equate it in your head that if I sit here and I devote my full effort and attention and focus to getting better at poker, to learning a new skill, to learning something to implement into my strategy to improve, that I will make more money. Once you wrap your head around that, studying becomes something that's like a logically easy thing to do. Now, I'm sure some people out there think that studying does not help all that much in poker, because poker is a game of luck. And to be fair, there is plenty of luck in poker. But it's also a whole lot of skill, especially in the long run. And if you play better than your opponents, you will crush your opponents. Okay, next, you need to be well rested. It's something a lot of people just completely forget about. They just show up to study late at night after a long day of work or after taking care of their kids all day or something like that, and you're just not going to have that much focus. Again, Brett here says, ADHD sucks, LOL. Yeah, but you got to realize that the nice thing about ADHD is that very often, if you really want to do something, that's all that will take your attention. I was told I have the worst ADHD a psychologist or psychiatrist had ever seen. But he says I'm very good at channeling it into things that are generally beneficial. Not always, but sometimes, or most of the time I'm good at channeling my energy and my focus into things that are beneficial for me long term, right? And you need to figure out a way to do that as well. Don't get distracted by a bunch of nonsense. I found that a good way to get rid of a lot of the nonsense is just like not have it in sight. I don't know if you know. My office back here is pretty busy. Up here it is clean and well organized. And that's because I want to look at nothing. I want to look exactly at my computer monitor and nothing else. I don't want a lot of other nonsense going through my head, right? I don't want to be distracted. So I set up my environment so that I'm not distracted. I also do my best to generally be well rested. I try to get at least 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night, which I realize is sometimes tough with kids, but I make a point to be well rested, and especially when I'm going to actually play poker or make a point to sit down and study a ton, I am doing my best to be well rested. So you need to make sure that you are really wanting to study and get better at poker, and that you are in a good mindset for it. That's like table stakes to get good at anything. You must show up ready to play. You must show up ready to study. You must show up ready and willing and wanting to do it. If you don't want to do it, you will not do it so well. You seem to be driven. I want to get things in my life that I think are beneficial. Simple as that. I realize that I don't do a lot of things because I have no desire to do them. I realize they're not beneficial. I'm not driven to do those things whatsoever. But there are some things that I am incredibly driven to do, and usually those things align with my very obvious skill sets, right? Like I'm good at playing games. I'm good at trading stuff. I'm good at finding problems with things and fixing those problems. So I try to structure my life such that I do a lot of that. I'm not good at, let's say, playing basketball, so I don't do a whole lot of playing basketball, right? Even though I do like shooting the ball. But I'm not good at basketball, so I don't devote a lot of time to playing basketball, for example, right? Find things that you are really good at and do those things, because that's how you're going to end up adding a lot of value to the world. Let's see. Stanford said that you've been away from the game, but studying a lot recently and you're crushing. Good. Good. All right. Once you are actually in a good mindset to study, you need to realize that if you are not already crushing the game, you should be spending most of your time studying. There's a quote in the description of this video by Matt Affleck, something along the lines of, for every hour you play, you should spend an hour studying. I would recommend more. If you are not winning at the game a lot already, it implies you're not very good, or at least you're not good enough to win at the game, good enough to beat the rake and beat your opponents. If you're not good enough to beat the rake and your opponents, well, then you should spend time studying such that you can beat the rake and you can beat the opponents, right? It's kind of like brain surgery. I realize poker is not exactly brain surgery, but imagine if Jonathan Little had to go do a brain operation on someone today. It would not go well. Okay? But if I studied it for 8 years straight, I might actually be able to do it. Poker is somewhat similar. If you just show up and play against players who have studied for 8 years, you are going to get demolished. You cannot win. It is impossible to win. Unless you run hot, of course. It's impossible to win in the long term. How about that? So you need to make sure that you are studying a lot. And if you're a good, strong player like Matt Affleck, he's crushing the games, and he's still studying an hour for every hour he plays, right? And I mean, I study a ton. My entire days, for the most part, are spent studying content, improving my skills so that I can help all of my students improve their skills. It is my job to be at the top of the game so that I can help all of you get to the top of the game, right? And a lot of the best poker players do spend a substantial amount of time studying in one way or another. Now, there are plenty of ways to study. We'll get to that in a minute, but you want to make sure that you are making a point to actually study. So how do you actually go about making a point to actually study? Well, the logical answer is to block out time. Okay? You need to make a point to block out time. You need to have a schedule. So maybe you find an hour or two a day where you block out the time to actually go and study. Same thing with going to the gym. If you find that you don't get into the gym, I have it blocked out on my calendar. Same thing if you want to watch a particular TV show or a sporting event, right? You put it on your calendar and you do it. You have to make it a priority. If you do not make studying a priority, it may not get done, right? And if it doesn't get done, well, that's that's to your detriment, right? Kevin, Natty, everybody else here are saying they're smashing the like button. Smash the like button. Do it. What's known buy-ins you suggest for a bankroll for cash games? Well, that depends on your skill set and your win rate and your risk tolerance. See pokercoaching.com/bankroll. We have a big article there. It answers all your questions pertaining to bankroll management. All right. So, how would I suggest you go about studying if you have decided you want to devote a substantial amount of effort to getting better at poker? People would say it's an ad. Yes, it is an ad. Go to pokercoaching.com and go through either the tournament or the cash game masterclass. Period. That is by far the optimal way to get good at poker, because it takes you from the very basics all the way to being a very, very good poker player. It will cover all of the common spots that you will encounter in either cash games or tournaments. Definitely focus on one game. Some people think I'm going to go play poker, and then they play no limit hold'em, deuce to seven triple draw, horse, and they never study any of it. And if you do a lot of things okay, that might be all right in life, but it's really, really bad in poker. Turns out if you are the third best player at the table in every game, you're probably going to get demolished. And that is exactly what you don't want. You need to specialize in highly competitive environments, and poker is a highly competitive environment. So you must specialize. Find a very, very particular game and format of a game and learn it. For most people, this is just going to be cash games or tournaments. I think that's fine enough. Realize, though, that in tournaments, there are various types of tournaments, right? There are progressive knockout tournaments. There are regular bounty tournaments. There are satellites. There are traditional re-entry tournaments. There are freeze-out tournaments, etc., etc. You need to realize that satellites, for example, play very differently than regular tournaments. Which means that if you study satellites a ton, you should not necessarily expect those skills to translate over easily to regular payout multi-table tournaments. Same things with regular tournaments going to progressive bounty tournaments. They're not the same. If you play them the same, you're messing up. And you're leaving money on the table. And if you're messing up consistently, whatever edge you're giving away is probably going to be enough to make it to where you are no longer winning. So you need to make sure that you specialize. But we have 2 gigantic courses at pokercoaching.com to teach you to be very, 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 very good at either cash games or traditional payout multi-table tournaments. Okay? Of your specialties, which do you like? Cash games, sit-and-goes, or tournaments? They're all different. I have found that being able to mix it up is definitely valuable. Now, once you get really good at one game, you can spend a lot of your time playing that game and grinding up a bankroll, so then you have funds to go and experiment with other games and try to find stuff that you like. And to be fair, I do think it is very good to know how to play various poker games. But when you are just getting started, when you are not winning at poker yet, or if you are breaking even or winning just a little bit, you should make a point to get really good at one particular game and then branch out from there. What I did is I was very good at sit-and-goes as a young poker player. I was very good at limit hold'em first, then sit-and-goes. Because the limit games were not all that big, sit-and-goes played bigger. I wanted to make more money, so I played bigger, right? I had to learn an entirely new game to play bigger. Fortunately, the game was very soft back then, so I didn't have to even be all that good. But once I got really good at sit-and-goes, I would spend something like, I would play sit-and-goes 6 days a week, tournaments, and sit-and-goes 1 day a week on Sundays. Then, after a while of that, I would just spend like blocks of time playing a particular game, like 7-card stud, or pot limit Omaha, or deuce to 7 triple draw, right? Just making a point to go through and at least be kind of competent in those games, in case I ever go to the casino, and I show up, and there's a random deuce to 7 triple draw game happening with 2 very clear whales and 1 or 2 very good players. I've played plenty of PLO, and limit hold'em, and Omaha 8 or better, at Bellagio, when I showed up to play like 5, 10, or 10, 20 no limit hold'em, and they happened to be playing those other games. And that study time was very useful. But it's important to realize that I would not have had the funds to experiment with those games if I did not have a main game that I could always fall back on, right? Sit-and-goes were my main game back in the day. Okay? So make sure that you study one particular game. I see a bunch of you asking random questions. Do you think the online sites are rigged? No, I do not. Obviously, I'm referring to the licensed, legal, regulated ones. If you're playing on an illegal gambling site, then, maybe. Probably not, but maybe. Let's see. You find it hard to find good bluffs. Is there a course on bluffing? Yes, go to pokercoaching.com. I have an entire book called Bluffs. Where is it? I have a literal entire book called Bluffs. It's a nice little book. Goes through 10 very common spots where you could be bluffing. Consult Google, everybody. Come on. All the stuff's at pokercoaching.com. Not the book, but videos very similar to the book. Okay? You need to know what and how to study in a structured way. This is literally what I'm telling you. Go to pokercoaching.com, sign up, and go through either the tournament or the cash game masterclass. It's incredibly structured. It has essentially a 10-minute video, then a quiz, then another 10-minute video, and then a quiz, then another 10-minute video, and then a quiz. And it teaches you from the ground up to being very, very good at poker. It's about 40 hours long. It is not a quick 2-hour thing. If you want a quick crash course, you can go to pokercoaching.com/fundamentals, which is also a 10-minute video, then a quiz, and a 10-minute video, and then a quiz. And that will teach you the very basics. But again, if you only know the very basics, you're not going to crush the games, right? Okay, so make sure you're specialized. Now, once you go through the tournament and cash game masterclass, you have to realize you're already on the fast track to success because you've already gotten a ton of very structured, very concise knowledge, and you will know how to play all the common spots, assuming you have went through the entire course and assuming you have gotten good scores on the quizzes, right? So what do we do next? Now, you're going to want to start playing a lot more poker, right? And when you're playing poker, you need to make sure you are taking notes, taking very clear notes on things that you are struggling with. What is giving you trouble? So you need to keep a file of this in your phone or written down somewhere. So, for example, in the past, I had a hard time dealing with people who would 4-bet a lot. Now, the obvious answer is tighten up or be willing to 5-bet a lot. Thomas, what do you do when somebody 4-bets a lot?
I guess he's doing your show for a long day.
This is a long show. It's only been going 15 minutes. We go for about an hour. That's a long time, isn't it?
I want to do it for a long time.
No, you need to go. All right, see you. You got to go do the laundry. Bye-bye. Have fun. I know. Laundry's less fun than this. Thomas is home from school now. He graduated preschool. He's officially I guess he's going to go to regular preschool now. Officially graduated 3-year-old preschool. What are we saying? So find specific spots that you're struggling with. And at pokercoaching.com, we have tons of videos covering all the scenarios you're going to inevitably find yourself in. Now, obviously not incredibly concise scenarios like 3-bet preflop, flop comes 9-6-3. I got check min raise. I called. The turn was this. He checked, and then check min raise me again. We're not going to go into very, 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 very specific spots, but we cover very broadly pretty much everything on the site because we curate the content. It's not just where we let the coaches make whatever they want. We, to some extent, guide the coaches and help them, or give them topics that we would like to have covered so that they're not covering all the same stuff, and so that everything is covered. That is by design. So we have classes that have a search tab, and you can search whatever you want, like 3-bet or bluffing the river or whatever, and something will come up. Okay? So you need to go through those spots and then implement the strategies that you learn, right? Next, we have the poker coaching quizzes. Especially if you cannot actually go and play very frequently. Maybe you don't live near a casino, or maybe that's the main reason. Imagine you don't live near the casino, or imagine you only have 30 minutes a day to study. We have a bunch of quizzes. These quizzes will probably take 5 or 10 minutes to go through, each one of them. We have about 1,500 quizzes, and those will put you in a hand as if you are playing, and then the coach will give you feedback on every single decision point. So it's like you're playing a hand of poker, getting feedback in real time. And that is very, very beneficial. It's like having a coach sitting with you at the table. And we have 1,500 of those, right? And 5 minutes times 1,500. What's that? Let's get out the calculator. I'm not going to say you're going to go through all 1,500 of them. Let's see. 1,500 quizzes times 5 minutes each. That is 7,500 minutes divided by 60 minutes an hour. That's 125 hours of content right there. So imagine you go through an hour a day. It's 125 days it'll take you to get through all of them. And of course, we're uploading more and more quizzes every single day. So that number's going to get bigger and bigger. It's probably 1,600 by now. I don't even know. So make a point to go through the quizzes, especially if you don't have a whole lot of time. Because whenever you go to play a poker session, I realize usually you're playing for a decent amount of time, right? Like 4 hours or something like that. But if you do have something like 20 minutes, you can go knock out a few quizzes and get some study time in. Should we have 4-bet bluffs in our range or only value hands? Well, Edward, have you studied the Cash Gamer Tournament Masterclass? If you have, you will know. You're wondering if I was already good at poker when I focused on learning. Oh, no! Absolutely not. I was bad at poker when I first started. When I first started playing poker, I was 18 years old, and I was playing essentially a $1 buy-in poker tournament with friends. I realized the same few people were winning every time, and it was not me. So, coming from a background of playing games and realized games have skill, I decided to see if there was any study material available. There were no training sites back then. This was in 2003 or so. And I bought a few books. They were on Limit Hold'em. There were no books on No Limit Hold'em back then. So whatever, I studied Limit Hold'em. I started doing okay in the little tournaments we were playing, but I put $50 onto Party Poker. And I read every single poker book on the market. I have read almost every poker book on the market today. That is, again, part of my job. Part of my job is to know what other people are putting out, right? And I studied a ton. I've always taken the approach of I am going to study a lot and then implement what I know to beat the game. I did this with chess. I did this with Magic the Gathering. I read every Magic the Gathering book. Believe it or not, there are a few of those. I listened to all the podcasts I had about the game back in the day, and that made me better than my opponents because I was studying a lot before I went to actually go and play. And that's just logical to me. I do not approach games from the point of view of I'm playing to pass the time or to goof off or to hang out with friends. That's not really why I play games. I play games to try to win. Period. Which I realize is not why everyone plays games. By the way, people play games primarily for 3 reasons. 3 reasons. And you need to think about why you actually play. They play either to socialize, okay? They play to push the boundaries of the game. Like in poker, this would be running big bluffs or making big folds or whatever. Or they play to win. And certainly you can be a mix of those 3 types of players, but it turns out pretty much everyone who wins at the highest levels of any game really only cares about winning. And if you play poker for reasons other than to actually try to win, you either need to have a mindset shift if you actually want to win or realize you're probably not going to be a big winner. Simple as that. For example, say you like to run big bluffs. You just love it. You can't help yourself. Well, it's not going to work out so well for you, right? And even if you do play well, but you just like drastically overbluff, you're probably going to lose. You got to get rid of it, right? You have fancy play syndrome. If you play and you're constantly talking to people and goofing off and taking shots and having a party because you like to socialize, probably not going to win. Simple as that, right? So you need to have a mindset shift such that your goal is to actually win at poker, okay? Oh, chess. How high is your ELO? I've not played chess since I was about 14 years old, 15 years old. Back then I would wake up every morning at 5 a.m. just to show you how I like to win. I would wake up at 5 a.m. before school and I would play chess on, I think it was called Pogo.com a long time ago. I would play the fast games of chess. I think my rating was 1850, 1900, give or take, but it's not a real rating because you're playing against random people at 5 a.m. in the morning. I found that I was much better at the fast game than the slower games. I'm pretty good at finding a good play. I'm not good at finding the best play. Funny enough, I played a game of chess with my son yesterday, so I guess that's not true. Teaching my boy to play chess, but I have not really played chess. Grandpa's been teaching him to play chess so far. Where do you get proper solver-approved post-flop solutions without buying a solver? Well, solvers display the solutions, but if you go to pokercoaching.com and study the content by a lot of the coaches, a lot of their content is based off of solvers, and they will go through all of the common scenarios, right? So I really do not think most people need to buy a solver and spend a bunch of time with a solver. You need to get the information consolidated and given to you efficiently, which is exactly what I do at pokercoaching.com. You started playing chess again about a few months ago. So Brett, I'm just going to throw it out there. If you have time to play chess, and you're not literally one of the best in the world at it, I would ask, why are you playing chess? I've had to ask myself this with Magic the Gathering and Hearthstone and Gods Unchained and chess and all the other games, right? What's the purpose of playing a game if I'm not going to make money from it and it's not going to make me substantially better at anything else? Well, it means you're playing to pass the time, right? And certainly you may say, oh, I like to test myself. I like to see how good I am, whatever. Why not do that with something that's a little bit more productive, especially financially, right? Like test yourself in business and build a business and make a bunch of money. Test yourself in poker. Spend a lot of time getting good at poker. Win a lot of money. Would you rather spend your time doing something and make money or not make money? It's really up to you. So, you say you enjoy chess. Fine. I enjoy Magic the Gathering way more than I enjoy poker. I've played no Magic the Gathering in like 6 years, since my kids were born. Because it is a very low value thing in my life, right? And assuming you want money and you like money, now I'm not saying do things only for money, but assuming you would rather make money than not, I would recommend that everything you do either make you a whole lot smarter or makes you a whole lot of money. Essentially, you do not want to be doing anything that does not make you a whole lot smarter so that you can use those skills to make more money, or it just straight makes you money yourself, right? Poker makes you money, coach. That's why you do it. Well, yeah, I mean, I think poker is actually a pretty good game from that point of view. Now, poker's a risky game because you can lose a lot of money, right? So you have to understand that, right? You have to understand that idea of there's risk. And it turns out anything that has high rewards usually has high risks. Nothing is risk-free. Back to studying. Someone mentioned earlier that they like to study with friends, and I completely agree. You need to find a good group of friends who will help you improve at poker. Now, the best study groups usually are designed around the idea that everyone brings something to the table such that they are all beneficial. You do not necessarily want to be the only person in a group who is not contributing, right? You need to make sure you add value. A very important point in business and life is to add value. If you add value in some way, you'll be invited back. You got to make sure you add value. This is why some poker players get invited to private cash games with a bunch of whales, and others never get invited to private cash games with a bunch of whales. Why would some poker pros get invited, but other poker pros not get invited? Take a second, think about it, figure it out, right? They're both winning money. They're both extracting money from the game, but some of them add value and some of them do not add value. So how do you add value? Well, you have to ask, what do the whales want? The whales want a good gambling time. They want a nice environment. They want a fun environment. If you go there and you create a hostile environment and you're not fun to play with and you don't give action, you just play good straight GTO and you don't really give action, well, you're not going to get invited back. Sorry. Simple as that, right? You have to make sure that you are adding value. So how do you add value in a study group if you're not good at poker? That's a bit of a pickle. Well, the answer is you find some other way to add value. Now, most people, unless you're very young, have some skills. Most of you have a job that you're at least semi-proficient at, right? Otherwise, you get fired. So ask, how can I use my current skill set to add value to this group? For example, let's say you're an accountant, right? Maybe you can help poker players with taxes or with getting financing for some sort of a loan for a house, or maybe with balancing a budget. Maybe you can make a spreadsheet that everybody can use to make their life more convenient and easier, right? Maybe you work on computers, and maybe you can help people with their computer setups, help them with whatever computer problems they have, right? But you see, like, everybody needs a lot of help with a lot of stuff, right? Like, I have a computer guy, I have a tax person, I have a lot of different people who help me with a lot of things, and I'm generally happy to help them with things that I can easily contribute, right? So in a poker study group, ideally there's some form of poker you're good at, but I realize that if you're not really good at any form of poker, or a particular part of poker, then you need to find some other way to add value. Now, an easy way to sidestep that is to just hire a coach. And you can just pay the coach money. You give the coach money, coach gives you information. It's a nice straight trade, right? At pokercoaching.com, we have the poker coaching study sessions ran by Louis Philippe, right? And Louis Philippe is there with a group of people who are all working hard to study. That's a group where you don't even have to bring all that much to the table because, well, you're a poker coaching member and you're paying us. Everybody else is getting paid, and it's the same thing, right? We are getting paid, and in exchange, helping you get better at poker. And Louis Philippe is there very regularly doing these study sessions where they go through a lot of common spots, and they are working hard to improve all the student skills. You go there, you can present whatever problems, questions, issues you have, and they'll usually find a good spot. I have the best job. Indeed, you're teaching all of us, but you have continuous self-improvement too. That's very accurate. By design. I do have a good job. I have a good setup where people consolidate the information and give it to me, and then I give it to all of you, and it's a good spot. It's a good spot for me. You bought a poker coaching membership, you've already seen your game improve 10x. You like the Cash Game Masterclass? Good. This is exactly what you're trying to do. It's exactly what you're trying to do. It's helped you become profitable in these games in Texas. I don't know if the games in Texas are necessarily tough, but good job. I'm glad you're winning. I will say there's been a lot of scandal allegations, etc. in Texas recently. Protect yourself before you wreck yourself. If you're playing in any unlicensed, unregulated, maybe legal, maybe illegal card rooms, be safe. Be safe. Why are poker coaching and products thriving? Well, first off, most of them aren't thriving. When it should be in their best interest to keep the player pool weak. if that's how you beat poker. Well, I'm sure you can use a little bit of common sense and figure this out, right? This may sound egotistical, but I'll play poker with any of you. And I give you all the information I know. I think I am going to know and implement the information better than almost everybody. That is a very important skill of mine. I don't care if I make the games tougher, because, if anything, I want to grow the high-stakes player pool. I want all the small and medium-stakes players to crush the games and move up to my games and take a shot. That's the predatory version. The other version is I like helping people. I don't really care if the games are tougher. And I will say, there was a period a few years ago where multiple young players came up to me who are the top players in the world and told me they're a member of my site and they actively learn from it, which is ooh, I did make the game tougher. They are better than me at implementing the information. So, such is life sometimes. I guess that is a cost. I will say that if you are a medium stakes poker player, it may not be in your best interest to make the games tougher, because some people will inevitably implement the strategies better than you because you're not already implementing them all that amazingly well yourself. That said, if you're a medium stakes poker player and struggling, you probably should not be making a training site, right? Also, I'm pretty sure most poker training sites are not thriving. I have some reasonably good inside information that poker coaching is, but not so much the other ones. So that's good for me, not so good for the other ones. How do you play your A game when the money is too important for you to lose? Don't play for money that is too important for you to lose. Just because a game exists does not mean that you have to play. You need to make sure you have a proper bankroll. Greetings from London. Hello, hello. If you have problems with payments, email support@pokercoaching.com. 1,000 IQ play to train people up to increase the high-stakes player pool. I mean, look, at the end of the day, I want you all to crush your games, because I'm not playing in your games for the most part, right? I'm not playing 5-10 no limit anymore, right? So go there, crush it, make $100 an hour. That does not impact me one way or another at all. Now, every once in a while, I do get nasty emails from people saying that they used to win at 5-10 no limit, and then all these people started studying, and they studied my content, and now they can't beat those players anymore. So, what? They're mad at me. Look at that big... Why do you always have your tongue out? Do you like playing poker? What are you doing? This is my boy Thomas. He's home from school. This might become a regular thing. Yeah, these are my notes. Did you show them my notes? You see the notes? You have to make sure we have good notes. Can you put your tongue back in your mouth? Can you put your tongue back in your mouth? Can you put your tongue back in your mouth? All right. Go on. Go clean up. See you in a bit. Bye. Oh, my goodness. You're wondering, with my website, do you focus on bringing low or mid stakes, or is it mainly mid to high stakes? Oh, no. So we have content at pokercoaching.com designed to take you from knowing literally nothing about poker to being very good at poker. We have a fundamentals course at pokercoaching.com/fundamentals. It's completely free. There you go. Bitcoin. I prefer the Ethereum, but Bitcoin, sure, too. You've been playing poker for over a month, so you're very new, and you get very nervous when playing big pots. Does this go away over time? Yes. You have to understand, if you're very new to poker, you're going to be super nervous, super excited, because it's very brand new to you. Anytime something is very brand new to you, you will inevitably be excited when you do it. What do you think of $40 to $100 no limit with 1-3 blinds? Sounds like a short stack game where you want to make sure you're not getting raked to death. Okay, so yeah, you need to find a study group. I think finding a study group is very important. Whenever I first got into poker, I was very lucky to randomly fall into a study group. More of like a group of friends, but we did study a ton. The main ringleader was this guy named David Benefield. His name's Raptor. He's absolutely crushed the games. And as far as I know now, he has all the funds. Congrats to him. And we had a very good study group. It was me and Tom Dwan and Dave Benefield and Andrew Roble and Shannon Shore, a bunch of other people. And we all worked hard together to get good at the game. And we all got very good at sit and goes and moved to cash games and moved to tournaments, etc., etc. And you're going to find that there are various, I guess call them cliques in the poker world where a lot of players have been studying poker for a very long time and getting very good together. Now, I don't study with those players much anymore, but back when I was young, I mean, we were spending literally all day together playing poker and talking poker strategy. All day, every day. Literally 16 hours a day, every day for years. And that goes a long way to helping you get good at poker. I mean, we were very serious about it, right? We were, to be fair, to some extent, striking while the iron was hot, right? Because in 2003, nobody knew what they were doing. We didn't really know what they were doing, but we were working harder than everybody else. Everybody else was goofing off and playing on the weekends and at nights and whatever. We were studying and playing all day, every day, because we were at the right place at the right time. We were all in college or dropping out of college at that point in time, and we had a very good opportunity in front of us, right? And with that very good opportunity in front of us, we made a point to make the most of it. Now, some of us made super the most of it, some of us made medium the most of it, but we all did pretty well. And that gave us all a decent bankroll once the game started to get a little bit tougher, to where we could inevitably figure out how to survive and hopefully thrive in the game. So anyway, get a good study group. We have the poker coaching study sessions. I think they start at 10 a.m. in 25 minutes on our poker coaching Discord. If you go to pokercoaching.com, sign up, click on the community tab, that'll take you right there to Discord. So really, that's it. You need to get a good solid foundation of knowledge, and that's what the tournament and or cash game masterclasses do at pokercoaching.com. And then you need to go through and study the spots that are giving you trouble, and then you also need to essentially go through a lot of quizzes where you get to put yourself in lots of common spots with a coach right there with you, getting information on how to play those scenarios. And then, find a study group and work hard with them. So I'll answer some of your questions now. Do you think there needs to be a natural ability for someone to get good at poker? Or if you gave an average Joe off the street a solver and some guidance, they could crush the high stakes? Well, you definitely couldn't take an average Joe off the street and give them a solver, because they would not know how to make the solver work. And to be fair, if you give the average high stakes winning poker player a solver, they're not going to know how to make it work well. A lot of people think you just run GTO solutions. GTO solutions are not how you crush the game. They're how you understand a good baseline to start, but then you have to adjust to take advantage of whatever your opponents do incorrectly. We have a new coach at pokercoaching.com we'll be announcing very, very soon, and that's pretty much what all of his content is going to be. Going through, showing the GTO solution, and then showing adjusted GTO solutions based on player pool tendencies, right? Are online cash games still good to specialize in, or will they die? I don't know. I mean, online's always a relatively tough game because the game goes really fast, right? And when the game goes really fast, the bad players lose their money very quickly, and that's a problem. So, I mean, online cash games are definitely good because they will teach you to be decent at poker. Like, you have to be pretty good to beat even the small stakes online. And if you can beat the small stakes online and you ever go and play live, you'll just demolish the game. Is Ace King always a continuation bet if you miss the flop? No! Have you watched the tournament or cash game masterclass? I can tell you haven't, because you should know. Say you raise and the button calls and the flop comes 10-8-5. You should check almost everything. Also, you say, should you bet third pot? Oh no, you're saying 1-3 game. If your opponents are not going to fold anything, obviously don't continuation bet when you don't have anything, right? If they're going to call with everything, don't bet with nothing. You were up 10 minutes from Andrew. Nice. I think his name online back then was, what was it? Okimos God or something like that? Was that where you're from? I don't remember. Minnesota? Wisconsin? Something like that. But yeah, I think online cash games are perfectly fine to study, especially to get good. You got to realize, whenever you are getting into poker, your goal should not be to make a lot of money. Your goal should be to get really good at poker. If you get into poker to try to make money, you will not make it. If you get into anything to try to make money, you probably won't make it. I mean, I played... I guess I am naturally competitive, or someone said earlier, I'm naturally driven, where I don't care what stakes I'm playing for, and I don't care what game I'm playing, I will take it seriously. That's just how I operate. I'm not playing to goof off, right? And I don't care if I'm playing for money or not. The money is secondary. I'm playing because I enjoy playing games and winning at games. And generally being the best version of myself that I can be. If you're enjoying this, click the like button. Yeah, tips for being impulsive and emotional in poker. Well, you should probably try to not be emotional and impulsive. An easy way to do that is to not care about the money you're playing for. Realize your goal is to just maximize your expectation. And anything you do that does not maximize your expectation will result in you losing money. And you don't want to lose money. In Puerto Rico, they have 2-5 games with a 10% rake, no cap. Ugh. And a weekly tournament, $40 with rebuys. you could really play poker in your country, or should you reconsider? That rate's going to be close to unbeatable. The way you do beat a very high rate game is to play really, really tight. You have to be really, 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 really tight. 200, 400, 400 big blind ante. Under the gun opens 1,000. You call with Jack 10 of clubs. Big blind calls. Flop comes. 10, 8, 5. Big blind leads 900. Both under the gun hero call. You should just fold flop. Easy fold on 10, 8, 5. All hearts with Jack 10 of clubs. Easy fold when it goes bet and call. You're going to be against better 10s, over pairs, flushes, and flush draws. You're going to be in terrible shape. Turns a 9. Big blind bets. 3,500. Only hero calls. I mean, ugh. Guess you got to call. River. 7. You make straight. Big blind bet 75. What do? Fold. You don't have anything. There's four hearts on the board. Just fold flop, though. This is a good example of where if you've studied the Cash Game Masterclass or the Tournament Masterclass at pokercoaching.com, you would know definitively this is just an easy fold on the flop. Easy fold. This hand plays out poorly for you basically every time unless it checks down. Okay. If you had any other questions I didn't answer, feel free to type them in again. Who is the poker GOAT in your opinion? There's a lot of very good poker players. Any advice when the stakes rise because of loose aggressive players? Make sure you're properly bankrolled for the game. They want it to be 5, 10, 20, 40. Realize you're gambling. Greetings from Cyprus. Hello. Okimos. Michigan. Yep, there it is. Probably saying the word wrong. How does freeze out strategy differ from regular or from rebuy tournament strategy? It doesn't. Pretty much doesn't. A lot of people think it does, but it does not. Also, by the way, re-entry and rebuy are slightly different. But for the most part, freeze outs should play exactly the same. Now, you got to realize some people are going to punt off their stack towards the end of the re-entry period because they don't know what they're doing. But you should pretty much play the same. Do we have any meetups planned at the World Series for the end of June? No, we have it for early July. May not be so good for you. Sorry. We're having a meetup game for poker coaching members at Aria. And then we are having some breakfast for poker coaching members. So make sure you pay attention to your emails. Any thoughts on how Adamo is playing? Is he taking unexplored solver lines or just being hyper-aggressive to exploit? I mean, he clearly is a good, strong GTO opponent. I think he realizes people overfold in general, and he blasts it. He knows the good bluffing combinations. He's probably more studied than almost everyone, and he's willing to pull the trigger. I mean, look, if you've been paying attention to my play to some extent, especially early and in the middle levels of tournaments, I bluff every time I can. And they fold a lot. Now, I will say Adamo is way more well-versed at using all of the bet sizes. I don't do the 10x pot all in all that often, whereas Adamo does sometimes. I need to get better at that. But again, this goes back to him understanding how to use all the bet sizes. We are playing no limit hold'em, not only up to 3x pot hold'em. That's about as big as I ever really realistically go. But he really gets after it, and it's tough to play when somebody really gets after it. Also, he's not afraid to re-enter. He's had big downswings, big upswings, and I'm not sure that strategy is actually necessary. You got to realize, whenever you play a much higher variance strategy, it's way harder to actually know your win rate to begin with, because it's going to swing all over the place, right? And also, you're going to have way bigger swings to your bankroll. I do not have infinite money yet, and for that reason, I don't want to be going on $7 million downswings. That's not what I need in my life. Some people are cool with it. I mean, imagine I'd have an extra 5% ROI, but I would take an extra $5 million in swings. Would I do it? The answer is just no. I would just take way smaller swings and a little bit less money, a little bit less profit. But a lot of people are different than that. And to be fair, when you're playing really tough high-stakes tournaments, maybe that's what you have to do. Because if your ROI is going to be, let's say, 10% if you play full maximum variance, but it's going to be 5% if you don't, well, you're giving away half of your money. It's a little bit different if you're playing multi-table tournaments where you expect to have like a 50% ROI. Maybe if you play the hyper-aggressive, you have 50% ROI, and if you play the slightly more conservative, you have only 45, right? So you're giving up 10% of your edge in exchange for way less swings. But if it's half your money, I mean, I guess you just have to take the swings, right? Can't wait for that new coach. Literally one of the current top 10 tournament players in the world today, according to all the rankings. Is it good to start playing online because it's better than online cash because it's better than tournaments? I mean, online tournaments are soft too. They just have more swings. What's a good win rate for 2-5 no limit? Probably about $50 an hour. Probably a really good win rate is like 70. How long for a beginner to start making money from poker? All you have to do to win at poker, find a game you can beat, play it a lot, and keep a proper bankroll. So, easy way to get good at poker. Study poker for about 40 hours. Find 8 friends who have studied poker 0 hours. Get them to play for a lot of money. If you look at the Los Angeles home game poker circuit, that's exactly what they're doing. It's a few good pros, a few okay pros, a few celebrities who are all like okay at poker, and they're playing against players who literally have no clue, and they smash them for gigantic stakes. Now, it's a different question. How long to win $100,000 per year playing in tough online games? I don't know, a long time. Is that a new bracelet on the shelf? No new bracelets added recently, unfortunately. How's the World Series going for me? I've played 0 tournaments. We're doing great. No cashes, no losses. I will be going at the end of June, and to be fair, my first week out there's going to be nothing but parties and business meetings. So I guess I'm just a YouTube content creator at this point, huh? Now, I think my first event's a 10K bounty tournament. Then there's the main event. Then there's a bunch of 5Ks, and then I think there's a 50K or something. I don't know. Some tournaments. There's some tournaments. Is there a difference with starting range and progressive knockout versus regular multi-table tournaments? Yes, very much so. There's a chapter in one of those books back there, Excelling at Tough No-Limit Hold'em Games by Alexandre Mantovani Cavallito. Very, very good, strong PKO player. Good, strong no-limit hold'em player in general, but very good at PKOs, and that goes through a lot of the common adjustments that you will need to make. Not going to go into all that today. Shout out to all the sharks in the Poker Coaching Study Group. Here we have Louis Philippe. Good morning, good morning. They've been crushing. They pick up 2 GG Masters tournaments. Nice. 2 GG Master Tournament titles. Very, very good. Those are big tournaments. Those are hard to win. Checking spades on the button. 4x over limper. Small blind calls. You may not want to raise over limper, but whatever. Small blind calls. Big blind 3-bets to 10 big blinds. You call. Flop comes. Queen. Jack. X. X is important. If X is like 7, that's very different than if X is 2. They bet 3/4 pot. You call. Yeah, sure. Why even write this if you just don't type in nonsense? Look, you make me read a whole paragraph and you don't even say anything. Come on, everybody. Come on, everybody. This is not answer all my hand histories. If you want your hand histories answered, post them in the Poker Coaching Discord, and someone will talk to you about them. Oh, there you go. Move the hand histories to Discord, everybody. There you go. We have a Discord where people are happy to help you with all the hand histories. I'm not going to sit here and read off hand histories all day. Sorry. Maybe we'll do that one day. Maybe one day you all load up some hand histories for me and we go through them. Biggest tip strategy for playing against friends in a home game. Keep it fun. Keep it enjoyable. Understand what they do wrong. There you go. You're going the end of June too. I arrive the 29th of June, I think. Something like that. Is the new coach Dan Smith, Elke, or Lucky Chewy? Nope. It's the only tip I'll give you. Nope. Only 24 likes. People don't like studying. I fully realize people do not like studying. So I realize why there would not be very many likes today. If you all like me and poker coaching and all the work we do, feel free to click the like button. It's a free, easy way to support the channel without costing you anything besides a click. But yeah, I think something a lot of people don't fully realize is that when it comes to poker studying, I think a lot of people have a bad attitude towards it. They think studying is the boring part of the game. They know they need to do it, but they think it's boring. You need to find a way to study that is engaging to you, that you find more fun than actually playing. One thing I have noticed, if you talk to a lot of the absolute best players in the world, the actual playing of poker is their least favorite part. Because it drives anxiety to some extent. It's a tough thing, right? It's stressful, it's strenuous, it's kind of boring sometimes. Whereas when you're studying, you're actively finding answers. There's a lot of value in actively finding answers. And that's fun to a lot of people. To know that you have found the correct answer is highly beneficial. What are you doing? Why is your tongue always out? They're going to think your tongue is stuck like that. Can you show a real smile? Can you show a real smile? Can you show a real smile? Okay, go. See you later.
No.
Oh boy. This is going to be an all-day thing. I can clearly tell. Okay. I already said literal top 10 according to the rankings. You all can figure it out from there. People keep asking the same questions. I don't understand. I've already answered the questions. All right. What was I saying? Get rid of distractions. That's something. But, oh yeah, bad attitude about studying. You need to like wrap your head around the idea of I enjoy studying. I want to study. I want to find the answer to this problem. Because at the end of the day, every poker hand is just a problem, right? Every poker hand is just a problem. Simple as that. Eric Charles apparently knows my schedule better than I do. What a world. What a world. Let me see. I'll tell you my schedule. Let's see. All right. I got it brought up. June 30th, a party for people who have a royal flush of my NFT series, Deck of Degeneracy. Ooh, that's going to be fun. We have a lot of stuff planned for there. We are going to be playing some poker, meetup game just for those players. We're going to be going to Top Golf, go to dinner, go to the club. It's going to be an all-day thing. The next day, July 1st, $10,000 bounty tournament. Okay, cool. July 2nd, recording day. Having a recording day. And that is the night of our poker coaching meetup game, July 2nd. So I'm going to be recording in a studio all day, assuming I don't make day 2 of the tournament. And then we're going to be recording poker coaching content for the next few months at the Poker Go studio, most likely. And then we have a meetup game that night. Next day, we have a retreat for my employees. Retreats on the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th. 3rd and 4th and 5th. All right, so retreat days. We have a meetup for people who work with poker coaching, coaches, media people, employees, etc. We're going to have a party for them. On the 4th, we're having breakfast in the morning for poker coaching members. On the 5th, we're having breakfast for poker coaching members in the morning. 2 breakfasts for poker coaching members. Make sure you get into those. I'm playing the main event on day 1D, July 6th. July 7th is a recording day. July 8th is day 2 of the main event. Hopefully I'm still in. July 9th is a recording day. Lots of recording days. Oh my God. July 10th is a recording day in the morning. Then there is a Hall of Fame bounty tournament, something or another. There's a 7777 buy-in online tournament and a $1,000 buy-in online tournament. Maybe I'll stream those. That'll be fun. The 11th, recording in the morning. Oh my God. There's a 2,500 that day. The 12th is a 3,200 online. The 13th is a 5K. The 14th is a 50K. That's going to be fun. The 15th is a 10K. 16th is a 5K. 17th is some online tournaments. Maybe we'll stream those too. Busy. And lots of recording days thrown in there. That's going to be a busy series for me. Did Deck of Degeneracy tank in value like all the other NFTs? A lot of NFTs did not tank in value. Deck of Degeneracy is holding up well. It is pretty much at its peak, I think. I think floor is like 0.380, something like that. We sold them for 0.1, so if you just bought them and held on to them, you've 4 or 5 or 6x'd up. It's pretty good for 3 months. It's funny because the total value of Deck of Degeneracy now is, I don't even know, like $3.5 million, $4 million, $5 million, and I'm keeping almost none of it. It's like a joke with my wife. Like, look, I made this thing 3 months ago, and it's worth $5 million, and I'm keeping none of it. I'm giving it all away. I don't care. I don't need it. I'm happy that all of you are crushing. Good job. Good work. July 6th, you're going to track me down. All right, there you go. You always wanted to do that. Good luck. Have fun. What did I say I'm doing on July 6th? July 6th is the main event for me. Yeah, find me in the main event. Happy to say hello. I will be there. I already answered if you should play online cash or tournaments. There you go. I already said cash is good, tournaments good, doesn't really matter. Be glad to have such wonderful sons. Oh yeah, I have 2 good boys. They are very, very good boys. Big hurdle you had was convincing yourself that studying was also making you money. Yeah, studying makes you money. Not just actually playing at the table. You got to realize that whenever you're playing at the table, you're just implementing a strategy that you learned or didn't learn. And whenever you show up to play, you're just implementing that strategy. And if your strategy's bad, you're going to lose. If your strategy's good, you're way more live to win. Studying poker is the fun part for you, right after winning. LOL, yeah. Getting rivered twice in a row after playing perfectly is the worst. Well, you gotta get the idea of short-term variance out of your mind. It does not matter at all if you win or lose any individual session. What's the best way to warm up before a session? I don't know. Some people are hardcore warm-uppers before they go to play. I sleep late, roll out of bed, take care of whatever business stuff I have to do, then I go to play. I don't do a whole lot of the warm-up stuff. A lot of people like to play some poker coaching quizzes, review a few hands, watch some poker. I don't know. You can really do whatever you want. We have content on that at Poker Coaching. I definitely think that is something that is very person to person. So a lot of stuff in poker is like, you kind of just like have to do it. Like you kind of have to be somewhat GTO sound to crush high stakes. And you have to know how to exploit players to crush small stakes. But stuff like pregame warm-up and post-game warm-up, et cetera, are definitely things that some people do a lot of, some people do none of. I'm generally err towards the none of side, but that's because I've been playing poker for many years, and it's kind of like riding a bike. I just show up and I know what I'm doing. Now, obviously, you want to make sure you're awake. You don't like literally roll out of bed and start playing, but there you go. When you're in Vegas, how much pool time do you give yourself? I will be at the pool 0 days. I will be either playing poker, at a business meeting, at a party of some sort, and or recording in the sound studio. Eric Charles knows everything. Deck of Degeneracy crashed. It was down 25% from peak. Currently, it's at 5% from the peak, keeping value like crazy. Yeah, you all have to understand that if I make anything, if I'm going to like really do it, first off, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to really do it. And I'm certainly not going to put my name on something that I think is going to do poorly, right? I have a reasonably good reputation, and people know that I like to add a lot of value. So with that project, I drastically under promised, and I'm drastically over delivering. So far, we've given back, I think, about $150,000 in ETH to the holders. We've had a bunch of free rolls. We've given away a ton of art, and I have a calendar. You can look and see exactly what we have coming up, plus a whole lot more stuff's gonna be added to the calendar. Oh, by the way, all those tournaments that I'm playing, I'm giving away 50% of my action to Deck of Degeneracy holders, randomly. I'm going to draw a card out of a deck. If you have that card, then you win. I'll show you literally what I do. I get the deck of cards. I have the deck of cards, yeah. Pull a card out of the deck without looking. I don't know, find one. This one, Nine of Hearts. If you have the Nine of Hearts, you would win something. Also, we have these cool physical decks of cards. You can request the decks of cards if you would like. So, let's say I was playing a tournament today. If I pull the Nine of Hearts and you have it, you win. Oh, funny enough, I'm actually buying pieces of some of my friends in tournaments. Today, if you have the Jack of Diamonds, there's 50 Jack of Diamonds, you get 0.2% of Shannon Shore in the $50,000 buy-in tournament. Today. So it's not just me. Fortunately, we have a lot of world-class poker players who are willing to work with us. So we're giving away tons of value, tons of equity. I'm making the project I want. I want to not have to pay attention. I want to have action and stuff that matters. I like supporting artists, and I like making art. There you go. What is Deck of Degeneracy? Search it. Deckofdegeneracy.com. I was told that whenever I talk about NFTs, half of you leave. So don't leave. We're almost done anyway. You got to wrap your mind around the idea that you want to study. If you do that, you will thrive. If you do not do that, if you think studying is the boring part, the hard part, the tedious part, the annoying part, then you're going to struggle. Back whenever I was 18 years old, you know what I did? I would play sit and goes in the morning for 4 hours. Then I would stop playing, I would have some lunch, and I would study every single hand that I played over those previous 4 hours. I would run them through this program called Sit and Go Power Tools. It's defunct now. There's way better programs. And it would tell you every spot that it thinks you may have done something wrong. Then you go in, you look at those spots, and see if you actually did something wrong. There were simple programs back in the day that would tell you if you should go all in or fold, or maybe limp. The games was way easier back then than it was today. And look at those spots, see if you screwed up. If you screwed up, okay, don't screw up again. Make notes of those spots and make a point to play them better. Then I would play for another 4 hours. Then have dinner, and I'd review all the hands again. I did that every day for 3 years, and I got really good at that strategy. And to be fair, it probably wasn't anywhere near GTO strategy, because it's not all in or fold, clearly. But I was really good at that, right? I did a ton of studying even when I was 18 years old. I realized that there's a lot of value in reviewing the hands that you play and make a point to improve your skills on a very regular basis. What is your favorite spot to hit during a meal? I don't know any of the places where we can eat. I did book Nobu for a few of the days with my employees during the main event. A bunch of poker coaching employees will be playing the main event for fun. And I figured that would be okay. But I don't know. I don't know the right answer. You're enjoying modern poker theory. Good. Are players actually using a range analyzer software in-game? No. I don't even think you're allowed. On almost every site, you're not allowed to use in-game assistance. What are the best free apps to review hands? I don't know. I don't know. NFTs are the future. I mean, it depends on how you implement the NFTs, right? The cool thing about NFTs is they can be kind of anything. I really love the idea of NFTs being an access token. For example, my Deck of Degeneracy NFT gives you access to a bunch of amazing artists and to me. A lot of you tell me you want to buy my action in poker tournaments. Way too many for me to actually sell to all of you. So what do? Well, my answer was sell it all ahead of time with the initial sale of the NFT, guarantee I'm going to give away half of my action for the next year, and then give it away randomly to people who supported the project. Also, some of you like to go out and have parties with me. So we're having a party in 3 weeks here in New York City. We're going to go see my favorite show. We're going to go to an art gallery. We have an open bar afterwards. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have about 40 people, a bunch of holders and a bunch of artists coming to that. It's going to be amazing. We're having the party in New York City, our party in Vegas at the end of the month. That's going to be a lot of fun, right? And the NFTs are essentially a ticket to that. So I think a lot of people they don't understand it yet, right? And any new technology, it takes time to learn to understand. But I like the idea of utility, and I like the idea of tickets. Tickets make a lot of sense to most people. For example, say you buy a ticket to the Super Bowl for $1,000. You have a lot of options from that point. You can resell it. You can sell it for $2,000, pocket $1,000. Not bad. You can go to the game. You can watch it intently. You can bet on the game when you're there. Have a lot of fun with that. You can go to the game and drink like a fish and pass out in the gutter. You can go to the game and not even watch it. You can take the ticket, rip it on fire, and put a video on YouTube and go viral. You can get the ticket stub after the game and sell the ticket stub on eBay. You can frame the ticket stub and put it on your wall. You can do whatever you want, right? Details for the party in New York. We're already at capacity. But if you're in the Deck of Degeneracy Discord, feel free to ask. We may have an extra ticket or two. Okay. I think that's going to be it for today. You're in your first year of serious poker. How do you balance your ranges? Like, do you play the same? So look, check out pokercoaching.com. Go through the tournament or cash game masterclass. It is all there. But when you have a ticket, you can do whatever you want with the ticket. And I think that's kind of cool, and that is essentially what I've made. I've made a ticket that gives you access to whatever fun stuff that I want to do. And I have a lot of fun ideas. We're just getting warmed up, everybody. If you all think we're delivering value currently, sit back and wait. We're just getting started. That's me for today. Good luck, have fun. If you want to study more right now, you want to get into those study sessions, head over to the Poker Coaching Discord. As far as I know, Louis Philippe's going to be running a study session starting right now. So make sure you go and hop into that. Huge thanks to Louis Philippe for all of that. Louis Philippe consolidates all the notes and sends me the notes. It helps me get better. I mean, again, I'm in a very lucky spot where Louis Philippe does all the studying and sends me the consolidated information that we can in turn give to all of you, right? And that's very, very, very useful and fun. It's good to collaborate. It's good to work together. It's good to add value to each other. Good luck in your games. Have fun. Make the most of your experiences. And make sure you spend time studying so that whenever you actually do go to play poker, you'll win. Thanks for being here. I'll talk to all of you next time.